the most powerful thing that we have, the most powerful thing that there is, you know. And so that's why we pray.
Aloha, and welcome to Healers' Voices, the podcast that brings you the healing heartbeats of Maui and around the world. I'm your host, Jessica Brazil, and together we embark on a journey to explore the inspiring stories of individuals who are making a profound impact on both local and global levels. From the powerful healing of Maui, we are here to amplify the voices of healers, visionaries, and change makers. We believe in the transformative power of dialogue to chart a future where all life thrives, living in harmony with the natural world and embodying the spirit of aloha. All right, welcome back, Chief Lee Plenty-Wolf. Really grateful to have you on our podcast, The Healers' Voices, again, to talk about some of the big life events that we're going through as a collective. And are really grateful to have your contribution to an extensive experience in providing spiritual support through your many ceremonies, through the wisdom of prayer in daily life, through embracing the Lakota values and helping those in need. And the last podcast, we got to dive into the 12 Lakota virtues and values to guide us in a more harmonious life, which include humility, perseverance, respect, honor, love, sacrifice, truth, compassion, courage, fortitude, generosity, and wisdom. So welcome back. Would love to just open up the space if you're open to it with a prayer or invitation of some sort for this space to be a sacred conversation of how we can embrace more healing in our planet today. So welcome back, Chief Lee.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Jessica, for having me back on this podcast. Say a short prayer right now. Hakele wongla kapiktonga kijoste po takoi wongla kapten. Toshke kichanya toshke kidali wongla kapte kenacha. Oyate ke oicha kapikta homse na kaptan na toshke taku gospel te kecha. Heocha le taku wongla kapi. Ja makasuton oyate konshicha okay po homse hoichichelo to home takas. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh. And hokahe. So, Chief Lee, you've been really active in helping raise awareness with just our relationship with nature and how we relate to one another as human beings, as well as how we relate to the elements. Would you open up the conversation by sharing a little bit about what the sacred elements are from a Lakota perspective and from a medicine man perspective?
Okay, what we see is that everything is sacred. Everything has sacredness to it. The younger we are, the more sacred we are. When we're first born, we're considered really sacred. That's why we consider children really sacred, because they're not out there yet to pollute their minds or bodies and minds. When you get older, you hear about all these things and learn of bad languages and stuff like that can contribute to polluting your mind. So when you're young and you just start off, we call you Wakhan, sacred. So that's why we call you Wakhan. Where the elements or the things or the other well, everything around us, everything we live on, everything that we go through, we consider sacred because we all have a life, and so we're all related. We're all related to one another, and so that's why we consider ourselves related to everything here on this earth, and beyond in the universes. Because there's other people, other forms of life in the different universes out there. So that's why and some of us, work with different parts, different spirits, or different uh, beings from other places, and it's it's uh, it's communication, really, communication with the great spirit, communication with everything. So that's why we have to focus on. That's where prayer comes in. Focus on prayer, and being able to just be as one. We call it being as one with everything, which makes everything stronger and makes blessings happen, and what people call miracles are really answered prayers. So we work together with all of our relations, and that includes everything that has a Nike, the spirit, which is the air and the wind and the water, and Machimaka, the earth, and everything else that grows, that needs that medicine, the water, in order for it to keep living, like us.
Yeah, so you've been very active in protecting water, and that protecting of water being connected to also protecting the people. So today, with many of the current conditions that we see in our world, what is your perspective on what events you're seeing taking place in our world today, and from your Lakota medicine man perspective, what is your view on 2023, November 2023, when we see a lot of challenges in our world around us and also a lot of opportunity? So from your perspective, what are you noticing?
Well, what I see is that as time goes on, and as we get more, as this earth that we live on gets more populated, we get more problems, more issues that come up, and then we have these powers, or so-called powers, self-made powers here on earth that try to control the majority of what us humans, or what everything uh, is controlled by, what we're controlled by. What they try, well, they do control us, but that's not supposed to be that way. We're all, like I said, individual. We're all uh, we all have our own path, and a lot of times we work together on that path. But man has created problem. The humans are only ones that create the problems of separation. Came up with this separation of races, and racism and hatred and jealousy, everything that is not supposed to be. Man has stirred up the pot, so to speak, to create problems and separate countries, people within the countries. You know, it's like That's their mission in life, which isn't supposed to be. We're supposed to live in harmony, and that's not happening. And it's just going to get worse. And then, according to our prophecies, which lines up with everything that's happening now, it tells us that we have to pray harder to be ready for what is coming, which is illnesses, diseases, corruption, wars, which is already happening. Man said it said this. One of our prophecies is man is going to go crazy. That's already happened. That's been happening in the last, over what 500-600 years, and it's steadily getting worse and worse. And never thought that, according to prophecy, these wars that go that's happening all over the world. There's right now, as you can see, there's war in a place called the Holy Land. That's you figure that's one place that shouldn't happen, and it's happening right now. A lot of our sacred children are being killed there. People are being killed there, innocent people. So, but then there's men inside these places in these countries that create that problem, that escalate that problem, and it's hard to control because it seems like both sides are wrong, but both sides are to them they're in the right, and it's, uh, it's difficult times. So that's what's happening, and it's going to get worse. Climate change is going to have a big effect on everything. Um, Climate migration is going to have it's happening already, and it's going to create problems in different countries, which is already happening again anyway. So, like I said, it's slowly getting uh, escalating, slowly getting worse.
And you visited us on Maui, and we recently went through what we would describe as a um, storm condition that was escalated by man-made causes, from water not flowing the way it normally flows, through a lot of man-made influences, as well as systems not working well or communicating well with one another. A lot of lives were lost. A lot of conditions formed under those circumstances, with nature in a way responding to these man-made relationships with the elements. So we saw that here on Maui, and I know you came and visited and had an opportunity to be with the people in our environment here and witness what that looks like. And I know you've seen it all over the world, when we have it expressing itself in wars and other natural disasters. As we move through these conditions and have a desire to find a more harmonious relationship with nature or with life, for those listening that do want to adjust their lifestyle or take action, or even have the power of influence to make some changes to reduce the amount of pain and suffering, what guidance do you have for us from your perspective and your awareness of these prophecies? What are some steps that we can take today to create some corrective action and find this path that is not so oppressed by control and fear, and is coming back into a spirit of love and harmony, collectivism, and responsiveness with nature and what is sacred? Well, that's a really loaded question, and we've had these conversations and we've been in ceremony together. So just as you tune into that, what's some guidance that you have for us?
Well, yeah, that is loaded questions. As all over this world, we have, like I said, people, different issues, different problems, governments, corporations. We all create. We create a lot of these problems ourselves, and by altering like I said, on Maui, the operating or diverting what's supposed to be a natural flow of water, medicine to certain areas. That's been like that for you know thousands of years. And to alter that, is a way where it's starting to like I said, Mother Nature. I mean, like you remember when I said that they're Naki, they have a spirit too. That's why we pray to water. We pray to everything. We respect everything. We try to have a respect for everything here on this earth. And when we try to when we alter that, then there's things that go wrong. The places that go dry, places that need that medicine, that rebel against the diversion of or the control of what man has done. And naturally, if things were left alone, then things work out the way it's supposed to. There's things that happen that we can't change, also, like fires and floods, because, like I said, Mother Nature, or what they call Mother Nature, it's these other spirits that work together or work on their own to go through life in what the way it's supposed to be. Like for instance, here, anywhere in the world, uh, the lightning usually starts fires. The fires burn a long time ago, hundreds of years ago. You didn't have no fire departments. You know, you let it. It burns and puts itself out. Whether it rains on it or it just goes out. It puts itself out. But that's the way it's supposed to be. Clears the land, makes it greener, controls burning and future burnings. And so let nature, what's supposed to go through, what's supposed to happen. And when you alter that, then it it rebels, sort of, so to speak. And the only thing that we have, uh, the only thing that we have control over is ourselves, our prayers. And so we have to keep or pray more, get more people to pray, because I always say that, and always go back to prayer. But that's the most powerful thing, the most powerful thing that we have, the most powerful thing that there is. You know, and so that's why we pray and pray for different problems, illnesses, diseases, sicknesses, because Creator is there for us, and it shows us the right medicines and what to use, right plants, what to and how much to use, what to use to cure certain illnesses. The same thing with everything else, whether the weather, and because of the pollutants we put up in the air, and then the, the way the world is going now, that's the climate change. We and that's we're contributing to that, and it gets to a certain point we can't reverse it. It's just we can prolong. The way I see it, we can prolong issues, but a lot of people just look the other way, or they think that nothing's happening around where they live, so there's nothing to worry about. They know it's all over the world already, and so like I said, and then I had to talk about that yesterday at another meeting, and even if everyone stopped driving at this moment, everything, airlines, everything stopped. It'll prolong our life. Expecting, we live a little longer, but it's not going to stop it. Man has already created that much damage to this earth. So the next thing, that's where the prophecies came in. Purification. Eventually, it will go through purification. It's coming. It's going to happen.
And purification, can you give us some examples of what we can expect to see from nature as our planet purifies itself?
The population along the coast, they're probably going to go underwater because of water is rising. Look at the glaciers; they're melting because of man, because of climate change. Well, sea levels will rise, and if that doesn't start, well, it's already started. Migration, climate change of climate migration. And it's already started on that because there's certain parts of the world that can't grow food, especially the warmer parts of the world. It's hard for them to keep growing food or growing crops to feed their people, and so that's why they're moving. They don't have any choice. They want to survive. They move. They move further north or further south. And there's really nothing south. There's just a lot of land up further north, So this is what we have to expect, and also, the changes in weather because of that. The weather is getting more intense. Tornadoes are getting stronger and more. The rains, the thunder, they're all getting bigger, more stronger. Hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes erupting, and I think there was just recently a couple that erupted in Hawaii, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so things like that. There's look what's happening in Iceland right now. The earthquakes, and they're evacuating certain parts of Iceland because of the earthquakes, so because of the ground cracking, opening up. This is things like that are happening all over the world. And at the same time, here we are not thinking about those things like that, forgetting about prayer, and man making other young men fight and kill one another. That doesn't make sense.
And we also have these conditions that we spoke about that are contributing to, even in the United States, living like a third world country. There's a lot of conversation around technology being a solution, and yet there's a connection to the air element and the purification of our air. So can you speak a little bit to what you see in terms of the conversation that's happening around technology being a solution to some of the healing in our planet?
Well, again, one of the prophecies was told that there's going to be like a spider web around this world. Spider web representing just like the black snake. The black snake is the oil pipelines. That's why we were up at Standing Rock, is because of that, the black snake. So the prophet that man is creating, or the prophet that they're constantly in need because of the blood of Uchimakai, the oil that's underground, the resources that are being taken out and sold, so people can get to profit off of it, I should say. The black web, the web that they're talking about, the spider web they're talking about, is the communication system throughout this world, and how it's going to be all over the place and cover this world. And communication things can be done faster. Um, the results can come in faster, but also it can create a lot of damage, which is what's happening right now. Is it's creating wars faster. Uh, it's it's raising havoc all over the world because countries are using it against each other, using that type of technology against each other. Um, this AI, that's one of the things that I've always thought about. And to some people, and in some ways, they think that that's good because it solves a lot of these problems and come up with a lot of solutions that maybe man has issues with or has problems of coming up with quicker solutions. It has ways to help the medical field, or uh, the different areas where it can be helpful. But in the long run, AI is no good for just like the spider web. It's dangerous. Um, it's like the same thing about playing with, creating life. What is it? Embryos, and how to preserve, or how to uh, create humans. It's the same thing. And it's in a way, this AI is going to cause more problems, I think, in the long run later on than it is uh, the solutions that can happen from it. I had a discussion with a scientist, and we were talking, and I asked him about, we were talking about all these problems and about the universe, and how what's out there, and what's going to happen in the future. And we got to a certain point, and I looked at him and I was like, "What about AI? What do you think about that?" And he said, "Whoa, well, AI." He said, "I never thought about that. That issue about using that in certain areas." But I said, "You've got a good point there." So I was like, "Well, yeah." I was like, "Well, what about it?" And he said, um, "It'll be good. We can learn a lot from that and advance in a lot of ways from that, and solve problems from that." And I said, "Okay, what about when it gets to a point where it's creating problems for us humans? Well, then what?" And he said, "Well, when it starts to get to that point, we can shut it down." So I looked at him and I was like, "What makes you think, if it gets to that point, what makes you think that it's going to want to be shut down?" So he looked at me and he's like, "You've got a point there." So it's the same thing. You get to a certain point when there's no turning back. Well, where is that line? How far do we need to go? How far can we go? Nobody knows. Only the AI knows. You know, and we don't know if we'll have control over a certain time, or a certain point in which it advances. You might say, "Man, I don't need man no more."
Machine world, essentially.
Right.
So this spider web, or this dark black spider web, this prophecy you see as a communication system that's moving through the air element. that's contributing to a lot of the challenges that we're experiencing in our world today.
Right. It's making it easier for communications. It's making it easier for some say it's easier because security problems. They can watch other parts of the world and, ensure that there's security in your country. But on the other hand, what they have laser technology where it can destroy other countries, or they can destroy one another, and then that's even before AI even kicks in.
Yeah, or has an opportunity to influence or infect through viruses, right?
Right.
Some created viruses. So we see a lot of identity theft and different uses of technology that can be very challenging to heal or correct. On top of these, global problems.
Yeah.
What I love about the solution with prayer is that we do have some science, and we also have some wisdom from these prophecies and from indigenous cultures around what we give our attention to, what we project with our intention, how we give that prayer, that there is a wavelength to that we emit as humans, whether that's embodying those different sources of higher power, higher frequency. Do you see that type of prayer influencing this web in a corrective direction? Or would you encourage us to embrace that belief that we can contribute to the healing of these elements through our prayer, through our intention, through embracing what I like to call our electromagnetic field, upgrading that with our prayer, with our intention, so that we're contributing to more harmony within this contrast world.
Well, yeah, there's always the power of what we call the power of prayer, the faith that we have in our Creator. Creator created everything. Creator can, always think about, okay, now, why is it that if Creator is so powerful, why is it that He doesn't protect those kids, or protect certain people, innocent people, from getting killed? It gets to a certain point where man created these problems, and there's lessons that need to be learned, lessons that need to be taught. Whether, like I said, life has a lot of lessons, whether good or bad. We go through these lessons, and we're supposed to learn from them. If we don't learn from what we create in a negative way, then we have teachings, and part of those teachings, as bad as it is things like that, death and destruction. Because if there wasn't, we don't learn anything. There's nothing for us to learn. So there is that part right there. There's always the good with the bad, bad with the good. And that's why there's always the opposite. You have the down and up and down, left and right, forward, backward. You always have the other side. The inside, the outside. It's always the both. You have to walk that line. That's what life is to walk that line in prayer. And you can walk that line in prayer. But if you forget that and veer one way or another, nobody's too good for anything. Nothing. The same way with the bad. But some people, some men get caught in the bad, more in the bad than they are in the good. And some people try to stay good. But there's nothing, in life, there's nothing, or no one's perfect. Only the Creator is perfect. But the lessons are there. So that's why the power of prayer, the power of prayer, we have that power of prayer. A lot of people think that, okay, well, I prayed, but nothing happened. Well, Maybe it's because you expect it to happen. That's why it didn't happen. You pray, and that's where that word faith comes in. You pray, and you leave it up to the Creator.
Somebody who is contemplating stepping into a path of prayer or embracing the mystery, right? Like setting,
I heard that part.
putting that prayer out there and letting go of the culture of control. What is one or two things that person can look forward to by stepping into this path? You know, like the gifts, the benefits of living a more prayerful, intentional life.
Peace of mind. I guess when you get to a point where you give of yourself and know that the belief and the faith that you have gets you that much, because we all have the equal opportunity to be that close to the Creator. We all do. And so when we get to that point, it's up to us, each and every one of us, how far we want to get. And we don't expect miracles to happen right off the bat. We don't expect to see or hear something just because we start praying. You know, Creator first, kind of, it's like a time of initiation, sort of like. That's what the way I look at it, the way I see it. It gives you time, and then observes you and see what you do and how much you put into it. Because nothing comes easy, and so nothing good comes easy, I should say, and until you're ready for it. Sometimes there's a lot of things that it took. For instance, me myself, there's a lot of things that took years. It didn't happen in days or weeks or months. In the beginning, I was like, okay, well, things are going to happen here quickly. There's certain things that did happen quickly, right away. But there's other things that I expected, well, at that time to happen in a couple of weeks, and it took years. But when it finally happened, I looked back at it and I was like, oh, okay, well, I know why now. Because I wasn't ready. I wasn't. I thought I was. To Creator, I wasn't. There's a time. There's a time that just like the cycle of life. We all have a time to go to the other side. We each have a different time to get on that bus, I should say. That's the way I look at it. For to journey up to the other side. And so it's the same thing. You put into it, and then you pray and let Creator take it from there. And the belief that you have and the things that you release, the issues and the problems and whatever you have in the heart, you release it to the Creator. You shouldn't have to worry about that after that. Because if you worry about it, then that means that you didn't have that much faith. You still didn't get that. There's a lack of the belief. And so you prayer, just keep praying. And I know that there's not just me, but other people might be telling you or all the people that, but that's just that's the only thing we have. That's more powerful than anything else. More powerful than the most powerful country here on Earth or in the universe. But that's all we can say. That's the only advice that we have. Because there's things out there. There's blessings. There's things that happen, and I can't tell you. I mean, there's a lot of things I can't tell you. You have to find out for yourself. I can tell you. I can tell you other things that until I'm out of breath, I can keep telling you. But unless you experience it yourself, you're not going to believe me. Because even though you think you can, but you believe me. There's a little doubt in the back of your mind saying, "Oh, I didn't see it." So even though you believe me, you're just gonna have a question back there saying, "Okay, I didn't. I have to go. You have to go through it." So that's like I said, that's the only thing, the advice that I have for everyone. That's why I said, so, plant the seed to start people to pray, to make that difference, a positive decisions, positive actions in life, in prayer, and combine it with prayer, you know, and you combine that with prayer, and we'll see the Creator do the rest.
You've been leading so many ceremonies and uh, different rituals or ceremonies, prayer that include prayer, and you've seen that power.
Mm-hmm.
It's been reinforced for a really long time. For those who maybe are not in a culture that they're taught prayer, do you have a couple tips for us to close with, or some final words of wisdom of how to step into a more prayerful life?
Like I said, yeah, everybody has that ability to be that much closer to the Creator. You can pray from anywhere, and the Creator will hear you. Creator is either him or her, or a light. It could be something else, another being from another planet. The Creator, to me, is one big bright light that's out there, and controls and created everything. And so the Creator has that power to answer your prayers, to protect you, to help your relatives, to help people. Like I say, it all goes back to, okay, how many people can help you pray? That's why they always say, I don't know if I've told you, but uh, they took this person, well, a friend of mine. He's a medicine man, and they took him out to space, and they turned him around and looked back at Earth, and all these lights came shining out of the Earth, all these beams of light. And he asked the spirit. He said, "What are those? Why are these beams of light coming from Earth?" He said, "Because those are all the places where man has gathered to send that prayer. They're all praying. They're all praying. It's going out into the universe. And that's what those lights are for. That's what those lights are." And so um, we can't see it here, but together, and the more people we get to pray, the stronger that prayer is. That belief that I have of that prayer, is there. And so um, we need to plant that seed to get more people to pray, let alone giving young people the guidance to make the right decisions, and to do the right things here on this earth. You know, it I've the prophecies. So there's a few that I didn't think I was going to live to see it, and I did. That's why I know that they're there. And as bad or as terrible as we might think it is, it might not be. It might be for the betterment of everything. Because the lesson has to be learned. Whether Ojima purifies yourself to start over, that's what needs to happen. And they say there's going to be people that survive it, the ones that pray really hard. But we don't know that for sure until we do it. See, and put our belief in it, our faith in it. So that's how I feel.
Thank you, Chief Lee, once again for your wisdom and your guidance. Any final thoughts that you want to leave us with in our talk today? I'm sure we'll have you again and hear more of you and hopefully have you in a course series to take a deeper dive with those who want to learn from you further. Any final words of wisdom to leave us with today?
Final thing is, before I leave everybody, I'm going to say a prayer for all of you, all of us, to be to make a positive difference in this life, in our lifetime. Sometimes we come together, our paths cross to make a difference. So there's a reason why our paths cross. To either work on something together, to be there together for a while, to be there together for just a little short period. But we learn something from it. We learn something from each other. We help one another, and we need to pray that we are all being guided in a good way by a Creator, by Tunkashila, and that our future generations, we think about them, and we pray that they have a future, which is not looking very good. But we have to pray to at least ask for them, ask the Creator to protect them, to help them. Things never like I was told too. Never give up hope. Miracles they call answered. I call it answered prayers. Could be a big answered prayer if everything made a turnaround. No wars, no nothing, no illnesses, no. You know that would be something. But anyway, this time I'll pray for all of us, and I hope that, like I said, there's reasons for everything. I I hope I just don't talk to you on this computer. I hope sooner or later I'm back over there, you know, back where I'm supposed to be, I guess. But anyway, I should do a lot. That's what gosh, Lord, can't think I am, but I will put a think of any chap. The money not a young clock, yeah, the washed it, no hitch, the washed it, Jessica, was she up in that? Así tako le yanke ki le na I kichi lo ashte pike hecha oya te ki iwashte pikte na tukata ke ta sanye oya pikta cha se cha na le na I wo blaka. Lom sa wo chonk ya pi. No khatu kash oshmo. Hecha to lo. Oh, takas.
Thank you so much, Chief Lee, for your wisdom, for teaching us how to live a more harmonious life, a prayerful life, and how to take some steps in our daily life towards living in alignment with nature and the Creator. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through the heartbeats of healing. We hope that Healers Voices has filled your heart with inspiration and brought you closer to the spirit of aloha. As we conclude this episode, we invite you to continue this important conversation in your own life. Let these stories and insights resonate within you and inspire change in your own community and beyond. Remember, the power of healing is within all of us, and by working together, we can bring positive change to our world. Let's move forward with compassion, understanding, and a commitment to living in harmony with nature and one another. We'll be back with more incredible stories and voices of healing from Maui and around the world. Until then, please remember to follow and like us to support this continued raising of awareness, and continue practicing, embodying, and spreading the Aloha spirit to make a difference in the world. Mahalo for listening to Healers Voices. We'll meet again soon.